Cape York, well, you've clicked on a cracking tour, and I guess I could probably say Cape York's one of the first destinations I started going to as a young bloke travelling, introduced to that area by some great mates who used to go there fishing. So started as a fishing destination for me originally, and then I incorporated motorcycles into it. Depending on which direction you do the Cape York ride, south to north or north to south, if starting in Cairns, you fly into Cairns, and we stay at the Cairns Colonial Club Resort. That's where you do your booking, and we depart from there at the back of the car park the following morning and work our way north. If you're starting in Bamaga, then traditionally you'll probably have to stay in Cairns the night before, because the flight to Bamaga is a pretty early flight, normally around that sort of 7, 8 o'clock in the morning up to Bamaga. You get shuttle bus from Bamaga to the campground. We do the tip and all that area that day, and then the next morning we leave on the tour. So again, just depends which end you start from. But let's start from Cairns, and you can reverse it. But that morning we take off. We all meet at Cairns Honda there. The team there are really good for us, and we leave the bikes there. We ride out, we get fuel, and the first day, that first part's just a nice introduction to get used to the bikes. Bit of bitumen, a few logging roads, a few mountain ranges, and we eventually work our way into Daintree, where the ladies there are great characters, and we have a good feed there for lunch before we have an awesome few hours on the Creb track that runs out of the back of Daintree up through the mountains. Stunning area, that real red clay. If it's been raining, we can't do that, so we do the coast road as an option, which is stunning as well. So either way, it's fantastic. But yeah, the Creb track or that run up through Daintree, Cape Tribulation is also good. But eventually that night we meet at Cooktown, south of Cooktown at Lions Den Hotel, and Daryl and the team there put on a great feed, good afternoon swim there, and the next morning out of there up to Cooktown, that beautiful view over Cooktown, the Endeavour River, or out over the ocean and the reefs, just stunning, beautiful area. And then we depart there and we head out past the airport and work our way sort of basically north and work up towards Starkey, Cape Melville National Park, in through that area. Some of the old traditional stuff really for me that's left of Cape York through there, 4-wheel drive tracks, log stumps, bull dust, bit of everything that day. Can get very hot in there with the big tall timber, and that's where you need that 3-litre bladder that we recommend on all the tours. From there into Kalpow for the afternoon and the night, and a great camp there on the crossing at Kalpow. Next day I call it kind of a bit of a transport stage, I guess, in many ways, but still spectacular run through Cape York, all through the back roads, up through cattle stations, into the back of Cowan, where we get fuel, and from Cowan up the bitumen onto the dirt, and then that final new bit of bitumen into Archer River Roadhouse. Brad, his wife, and the team there, again, look after us. We camp out the back, we go down the river for a swim in the water holes, and a few beers and a great afternoon there before we settle in for a feed from Brad and the team. Sometimes he cooks some great steaks on the smoker for us as well. That next morning out of there, it's about 50k bitumen onto the dirt. I stick to this run. There's a few other options around, some other operators doing different runs, but I like the run that we do, and we zigzag basically our way between Telegraph Road and the Portland's Road out to Portland Road, eventually meeting up with the Frenchman's Track, which if you read any of the 4-wheel drive magazines, it's a great track, some great crossings, some good climbs in and out, and a great afternoon on that track. Eventually back out onto the main road, and then we beeline it through across the Wenlock, Moreton Telegraph Station, up to Bramwell Station. Known Vince, Wendy and all the team there a long time. They're not always there, but Ken Godfrey and the team run a great tourist park there, live music every night, and he looks after us. So we go in there and then have a good feed, and then the next day out of there early, down to the Roadhouse, fuel up, and then that final day is pretty much all telegraph track, which is some of the best riding we do in the Cape, and it's just a great day. A lot of crossings, some challenging climbs in spots, depending what the wet season's been like. You get to look at Gunshot and all those crazy areas that people like, and then eventually onto the ferry, cross the Jardine, and it's dirt roads for the rest of the afternoon, up to the plane wreck, the DC3, and then out to the tip of Australia, where you do your photographs, and eventually riding back into Loyalty Beach, where we have a great dinner that night on the beach at Loyalty Beach, overlooking the beautiful ocean out into the Torres Straits. That next morning we shuttle bus you from the campground to the airport at Bamaga, and as you know, with Cape York, any of your flights from the tip to Cairns or Cairns to the tip are included in your tour price.